Starting out with my base, I'm priming using my Bare Minerals Prime Time. This one's in the Neutralising shade, so it's yellow tinted and it just neutralizes any redness. Then for foundation, I'm going in with two Nars Sheer Glow shades. I'm taking Barcelona and Mont Blanc, just because Barcelona is quite dark and Mont Blanc's really fair, so it gave me the perfect colour. So I'm just buffing that in, or stamping that into my skin more or less with a beauty blender. Then on my eyes, I'm going to prime using my MAC Painterly Paint Pot, and I'm going in with the Lorac Pro palette. And I'm first taking this bony cream colour shade, and I'm just applying this all over my lid just to act as a base, so that when we blend the other eyeshadows over top, they blend nice and smoothly. Then I'm taking the shade Taupe, and I'm just using a fluffy blending brush to buff this all through the crease and up a bit higher than the crease, just because I have hooded eyes, so I like to bring it up a little bit higher. Then I'm going in with a darker brown shade. This is called Sable. These are all matte shades, by the way, and I'm using a MAC 217 to buff this into the outer corner and bring it in through the crease. So I'm doing this a little bit more precisely. Then I'm taking this shimmery brown shade for the lid, and I'm just using a flat shader brush just to swipe this all over the lid. I start off with patting motions and then going to swiping. And then of course you just want to take your blending brush and start to blend the edges. And I do take the original blending brush we used with the taupe shade just to make sure everything's seamless. Then to tightline, I'm using my Eye of Horus black liner, and I'm just tightlining my top lash line with that. And then I'm going to do a thin line along my lash line just to create some depth and dimension on the lash line. So yeah, just doing a thin, messy line, because then we're going to go in with a straight edged brush and just smudge everything out so it's more smoky. Then going in with an even darker shade, this one's called Espresso. I'm just building this up along that lash line and then pulling it up into the outer corner. And then of course, just with the excess, just bringing it through the crease. So you want to start out with the most product on the lash line, then the outer corner, and then the crease. Then I'm just curling my lashes and applying some mascara. This one's the Maybelline Pumped Up Volume Colossal, I think it's called. It's a really good mascara. And then for falsies, I'm applying the Vegas Nay Shining Star Lashes by Eyeliner. I absolutely adore these lashes so much. If you haven't got them, I would highly recommend them. For my under eyes, I was a bit tired, so I decided to color correct with my orange LA Girl Pro Concealer. So I'm just applying a small amount of that and using a Real Techniques domed shadow brush just to buff it out lightly. You don't want to blend it completely out because you're going to cover it with concealer. So I'm taking the LA Girl Pro Concealer in the shade Light Ivory, I think it's called. I'll have the name listed down below, and I'm just applying this in all the regular places, just down the center of my face and underneath my eyes. And then I'm just using my damp beauty blender once again to tap everything out. Then to cream contour, I'm taking my Kryolan Combi Shader Foundation Duo thingy, and I'm just using an Exo Beauty Flat Top Little Eye Brush, and I'm just applying this in all the areas I want to contour, and then using my beauty blender once again just to blend everything out. You sort of need to swipe as well as tap with the beauty blender when you're working with cream contouring products, just because it's hard to blend out by just tapping. So you just want to blend everything out till it's nice and seamless and blends in with your foundation. Then I'm taking the yellowy shade and I'm taking that underneath where my contour is. This is just going to help sharpen up the contour and make everything look really clean and crisp. So I'm just applying that and then blending it out, making sure I use the end of the beauty blender that I applied my foundation with so it's nice and seamless. Then I'm just going to bake my under eyes and underneath my contour using the Face of Australia Loose Translucent Powder and just a little e.l.f. blending wedge, or wedge sponge. I always get that name wrong. And then just to set the center of my face, I'm taking my MAC Mineralise Skin Finish. This one's in Light Plus. While I'm still baking, I'm going to bronze up my skin using the Physicians Formula Bronze Booster. This is just in the shade Light Medium. It's a very natural bronzer. So I'm just applying this where we cream contour just to basically set everything. Then I'm using a Real Techniques blush brush just to dust away any of that baking powder. And then for blush, I'm taking the NYX Baked Blush in the shade Ignite. It's a beautiful corally shade. I'm just applying this to my cheeks and blending it back. And then for a highlight, I'm taking Colourpop's Wisp highlight. So first I'm starting out with a small little angled brush just to get a very precise highlight on the cheekbones, and then I go to a duo fiber brush to buff everything out a bit and apply a little bit more. So just taking that on the tops of my cheekbones, above my eyebrows, on my cupid's bow and my nose. Then for lips, I'm first lining my lips using my Rimmel Addiction lip liner. This is my favorite nude lip liner ever. So I'm just outlining my entire lips, and then I do some lines through my lips just because it's meant to make your lips look fuller, so I decided to give that a go. And then for the lip color, I'm using MAC Cosmetics lipstick in the shade Angel, which is a beautiful pink shade. And then I'm just going to top it off with some gloss. This one's the Gerard Cosmetics Shimmer of Hope lip gloss. So I'm just topping all of that off. And then back onto my lower lash line, I'm taking the taupe shade on the fluffy blending brush, just buffing that underneath the eyes, and then taking Sable with the 217 and just doing a little bit more of a precise buff under the eyes. Then just back in with my black liner, I'm going to line my waterline with this just to give it a bit more of a smoky sort of look. I don't do this often, but I really like it when I do. And then just adding some lower lash mascara, and I'm going to then highlight my inner corners and my brow bone using my MAC Vanilla Pigment, which is absolutely stunning. I love this pigment. And after the highlight is done, this look is complete. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you did, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!